CEOs are the highest ranking executives in a company, but how do they actually get to the top? 3 years ago, I met someone who knows the exact answer to that. This is Chris. Chris started a tech company from nothing, grew it to 20 million, then sold it. Chris is a CEO. He also gave me my first internship 3 years ago. I don't really want to talk about why my hair here looks like the front two legs of a spider. It's 2022. So I hit Chris up and I asked him one big question. How do you beat the 9 to 5? Chris didn't just give me an answer, he gave me a formula. But here's the catch, I can't just hear it, I have to live it. And for that, I've set 3 ground rules. Rule number 1, I need a blank slate. So I'm quitting my current job.
What do you want to discuss?
I don't have to say this, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I'm gonna leave. I'm handing in my notice today.
Today?
Yeah.
Are you taking the piss?
No, I wish I was. It's a shame because I actually really liked that job and was doing quite well. Rule number 2, I have to document the entire journey at my new job, going from nothing to becoming the top performer following Chris's formula.
So I have a methodology called DEVO, D-E-V-O.
So for the next 90 days, I'm going to be filming myself every single day just to prove that this just works. Rule number 3, if I give up or even worse, fail to be the top performer, I have to transfer £1,000 to my half Italian friend Luca. What would you do with £1,000?
I'd buy pasta, obviously.
With the rule set, I went to visit Chris and he gave me a step-by-step guide to go from just another cog in the wheel to the cog in the wheel.
Not Mr. Big Cog.
So the first part in Chris's formula actually begins with the best letter in the alphabet.
D stands for differentiate. How am I going to differentiate? And the way you can differentiate is by doing all the very, very basic things. Showing up early. So I used to not only go to the office early, if ever I go to a meeting, I don't turn up at the last minute and rush in and say, sorry, I'm late, or turn up late. That's the worst thing.
Since it's a blank slate, I joined a brand new role in a completely new environment full of people I've never even met before. Oh, by the way, I decided to go into tech sales simply because most CEOs have a background in sales.
I am really, really, really good at sales.
And I watched that scene in Wolf of Wall Street like every other salesperson.
Welcome to the Investors Center. Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
To differentiate, I decided to come into the office every day before the managers, made sure everything was organized, but also use my interests to differentiate. For example, I love finding new ways of doing things and then sharing it. So when I started doing this in my team, the managers started to notice and encouraged me to keep going.
They absolutely smashed it, mate. Did a really good job. I'm impressed.
Differentiate can be a number of different things. How you dress, do you turn up on time? Being different is being more professional or more approachable or more available.
And this leads us on to the second step of the formula.
The E, the engagement, is how you engage with that organisation or that person. And engagement is really important, especially for young people, because people fear titles within businesses, you know, directors, CEOs, CFOs and all that.
Honestly, that was my exact fear. Why would they listen to a Gen Z who doesn't even have a Financial Times membership? But then Chris uttered 3 words that just changed my way of thinking.
Reach out to the CEO of any organisation.
Yeah.
And introduce yourself. It's a lot easier now because there's things like LinkedIn and so on, but reach out to them, tell them what you're doing and tell them who you are. Then that adds to your story and your value, and it shows that you're prepared to put the hard miles in to build those relationships.
And reaching out is exactly what I did. I sent emails after emails, I got rejections after rejections. I was getting so disheartened with all the ghosting and the rejections until we got a response. I found someone who had already done my role from Google to mentor me.
Understand who are the key players, who has been doing it the longest. Just make yourself be known. I would understand what the best player does, the person with the most experience on the team, what they've done and what they've done in the past. I definitely view 9 to 5 as a game in a sense. You're not going to beat the person that's going to sit in the office on Friday until 6 o'clock.
So you gotta outwork your competition essentially.
So yeah, you have to do that in the beginning.
I also did some digging internally and I found that the top performer in Europe was based in France. Of course, I had to reach out. Thank you very much for jumping on a Zoom call. I know you probably are very busy.
Man, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I want to hear from your first impression about the job.
You are smashing it. I thought, you know what, I have to speak with you. I have to understand your process.
Imagine this job as a game.
Yeah.
And the better you know the rules of the game, the better you can use the rules to perform. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I don't really know what he meant, but what I did know was that my network was growing. I had Chris, my mentor, and the French guy. Things were going well, almost too well. The truth was, even though a month has gone by, I was still missing my previous colleagues. Honestly, my old environment was just pure vibes, especially working with people who I could call my friends. Now it's completely flipped, and suddenly I was on this lonely journey. But the thing is, I was determined to get to the top. So the grind continues. The final 2 steps in Chris's formula are probably the most important, and that is
V is the value. Is how are you going to prove to this person, this organisation, that you're going to deliver value to them? We break value down into what I call SSIs. S, save. Can I save that person some money? And most people are interested in saving money. Can I solve them a problem? The I is increase. Can I increase their cover? Can I increase their service reputation? Can I increase their revenue?
But specifically for me and you, our value to winning the 9 to 5 comes from effort.
Because your effort is your value, right? And where you place your effort is going to help you develop. It's spending your time on what's most valuable to what your target is.
This is one of the most important points in this video. It's something that I just clocked on to when I was attempting the 90-day challenge. Honestly, there are so many parallels between a 9 to 5 and a video game. For example, when I was a kid, I used to play Pokemon growing up.
We're playing a match today, me against some random Japanese dude.
Because I had put so many hours into the game, I would literally just smoke every single person. But then when it came to Mario Kart or something, I would probably lose every single game because I had barely put the hours into it. Same principle. Make sure you direct the effort into the outcome you want, then double down by investing time into it will only get you closer to whatever goal you have. So I became obsessed with winning. As soon as I'd come home, I would just keep pushing. And not to mention, another critical point is
to try different things and not to be afraid of failing. I did one campaign very, very early on. This is how long ago it was. It was when they were launching fax machines. And so I took a photocopy of my shoe. I'd get the fax number of an organisation and I'd fax a copy of my shoe with my phone number on it. All of a sudden, my phone rings, I pick the phone up and the guy says, "Why are you faxing me a copy of a shoe?" And I say, "Now I've got my foot in the door. Can we have a conversation?" And he laughed. He might have been only 1 in 10 people that laughed, but I knew that worked, so we could try that again. But also, it's working out what works and how much effort you have to put in.
And just like Chris's fax machine shoe, I tried different ways of working, using different lines when speaking to strangers.
I mean, I'll be very honest with you. I'm sure you probably get many of these. It is a scale score, and I don't know if you want to throw your phone across the room, or if you can let me have 30 seconds.
I'm not throwing a dish in, no, that's fine. I've got 30 seconds for you to tell me what you'd like to tell me, that'd be fine.
Late night studying of the psychology of emailing.
20 minutes till midnight. I'm gonna call it a day today. Okay.
Literally reading every single book on sales. I was trying new ways to find the meta, and then just going all out on the things that were working. Chris also explained something that just made sense, and when I applied that to my strategy, then every hour became very worth my time.
Selling widgets, okay? You have to work out, right, if I go and visit 10 people, I need 10 meetings. Once I've done 10, one person buys. That means you need 10 meetings to sell one widget. You might need to make 100 phone calls to make the 10 meetings to sell one widget. To get those 100 phone calls, you might need to do a day's worth of research, finding out what the phone numbers are and who the people are. So therefore, you know, when you get to work in the morning, I've got to do bits of research to find so I can sell one widget. And that's where the turning up early sometimes and doing that hard graph, which no one sees.
Essentially, it's first identifying the end goal, then working backwards to break down each step. That way you just have a clear methodology to get to where you want to be. Which leads us on to the final part of the formula.
The O is the outcome, and that outcome has to be a shared outcome.
This is just such an important part because end of the day, you're working for someone that also has objectives to complete. And if you can just get shared wins, that would only benefit your credibility. In a 9 to 5, it's very simple. You just have to show that you're doing the work and being supportive in the team and hit my numbers so then my management was happy.
Summary of that, Devo, is differentiate, make yourself different, make sure you engage, make sure you deliver value, and make sure you've got a joint win outcome, a win-win. That's the only other way.
Just like that, with the power of Devo on my side, I grinded each day because I had one goal in mind. Each day was a hustle, and there was some good days where I felt like I was on top of the world. Boom. And there were some bad days where I felt unmotivated as But the thing is, regardless, motivation is temporary and discipline is permanent. I was so locked in to the point that I even went on holiday with the boys and all I could think about was just being on my desk at work.
This is really weird for me to say, but being on holiday is great, but I miss the mundane tasks that I do every single day. Going to bed at a reasonable time at 10 p.m, waking up at 6 a.m, getting on the train, going into work, saying hello to my colleagues, getting my work done, coming home, going to the gym, and repeating it again and again.
For the first time in my life, and I'm not even joking, I felt like I was in a flow state. Honestly, I poured hours into this game. Countless late nights and early morning rises, and it started to pay off.
Like on the dot, on the second, Dill. Great job. I love the confidence. I like that you sat in an office today, or?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Serious? You came in, and I could you were ready. I could sense that confidence and that energy.
As we approached the final week of the 90-day challenge, I was getting closer and closer to my goal. Was I passionate about the job? No, but what I was passionate about was improving myself every day and compounding the growth. That is what kept me going. You shouldn't be chasing passion, you should be chasing mastery. I walked into the office on day 90 and found out that I made it. I became the top performer in the UK in 90 days.
I have 7 SQLs this month.
That's great. Like, you know, in the forecast,
Yeah.
we have the Spanish team, the Italian team, and the French team. In the forecast, with your 7 SQL, you're in front of nearly everyone in my forecast. But we are senior, like we have been here for 1 year. Man, you're good, man. You already have 7, man, you're very good.
The people that succeed are the people that actually get their head down and work out what they want to do, what they need to do, and how hard they have to work to get it. Now, I don't condone people becoming busy idiots, but actually working out what is the best way and having the courage to put the time in, sometimes outside of work, right? Yeah. And people say, no, I'm a 9 to 5, and that's fine. And there's a space for people in that world. It depends on what your goals are.
Every aspect of your career is a game, right? Like, you just treat it as, okay, like I want to win. I just want to win. Even if I don't feel like it, I have to come in and work. There's never been an athlete that hasn't got better from being the first one in and last one out. Like, even if you're not the best player, you're gonna naturally just get better because of the time that you put into it.
I want to avoid anyone thinking, well, I want to buy a car, I want to buy a Ferrari or what have you. Money shouldn't be the goal. If you find something that you are interested in and passionate about,
there's no reason to do it half-assed or just like not giving your all, because you don't want to sit back and just look at it like, oh, I could have done a bit more here, I could have done a bit more there. At anything you do, that this is not only for work, right? This is for life.
I learned a lot filming myself for 90 days and posting it on YouTube. Not gonna lie, it was a bit weird editing and rewatching your day, but it gave me something I never had before. It allowed me to self-reflect in 4K. Literally. After the 90 days, I felt like a completely new person. Not just in terms of looks, but inside. I felt the most driven I've ever been. Locked in and in a flow state. But what really blew my mind is the fact that if you boil everything down, Chris's advice worked like a charm. There will be good days and there will be bad ones. But the key is to not be attached. Just let it happen. Because I had the 90 days in the back of my mind, there was always this grand ending to get to, which kept me going. I learned how powerful setting intentions are. But this was also the first time I experienced a hard truth. I learned about the curse of the blank slate. Because when you hit that button, gone means gone. Looking back, was it a wise move to quit my original job, where I was in a comfortable environment, surrounded by great people? Life was good.
Okay, go for it. What do you want to discuss?
Don't say this, but I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I'm gonna leave. I'm handing in my notice today, yeah.
Today?
Yeah. It's a bit of a shock, I know. And I wanted to wait until you came back to say.
Are you taking the piss?
No, I wish I was.
Okay.
It's just so weird. This is my first time doing this as well, so I'm a bit nervous if I'm being honest with you. And I've been really thinking.
You have to be nervous. I mean, like we're losing like the best person in the company.
I really like working with you. Like, it's been an incredible 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just. I think a large part of the growth for me was because of you, so I just want to say thanks.
I think like you are like truly one of the best people that someone can manage. Because you're just a sponge. Like you always want to learn like how to do it better.
You believe in me and I respect that.
But you gave me the reason why. To believe in me.
But I realized I became attached to the comfort. And in order for us to grow, we have to keep fighting new battles. Leaving my team was the saddest part because this was my first job after uni and I made a lot of friends. But growth is priority. And I heard someone once say, sometimes the hardest choices require the strongest wills.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember this for sure. Nobody. Oh, it's such a shame for us to part.